What's up, guys? Welcome back to another iPopcorn for that review. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
And, guys, if you're just joining us for the first time, we would love to have you hit that subscribe button down below. But this week we're talking about the new movie, A Haunting in Venice. So, this was directed by Kenneth Branagh. It's the third in the Hercule Poirot series of trilogy of movies. And let's talk for a second, just for a briefest second, about what we thought about the previous movies. Because I did just rewatch the first one, by the way, and I haven't mentioned that to you. But what
Okay.
what are your thoughts on the previous two movies going into this?
I like them all right enough, I guess. I mean, it's a pretty formulaic thing that they follow for each one of these movies, and there's nothing super special about them, but they are entertaining, I think.
I mean, it is like classic Agatha Christie,
Mm-hmm.
so the story is already there. You're just choosing how to adapt it. But yeah, so I've only really seen the first one, and for some reason really didn't like it. And then I started to watch the second one out of curiosity. Sometimes like it wasn't like I really didn't like it. It was just like it didn't quite resonate with me, so I gave the second one a shot too.
Right.
And the second one really, I don't know if it caught me on a bad day, but the second one really didn't work for me at all. And I didn't even continue to give it a chance. So I don't know how much of that one I watched. I intended to watch both of them going into this. I watched the first one again, and I was surprised by. I do like that more than I remember. There's some things I could nitpick it, but this isn't a review for that. But I'm just saying, like, overall, I had a lot more fun with that than I thought I would, and especially the character of Hercule Poirot, or is it Poirot?
Yeah,
Poirot.
Poirot.
Hercule Poirot. And everybody wants to call him Hercules all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you like the series already, this is I wouldn't. You could go into this as the first one, but I wouldn't. I would at
Mm-hmm.
least watch the first one before you watch this, and maybe the second one. We'll see. I didn't make it to that, but yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised rewatching that, and then I went into this, and I do think I like this the most of the bunch, but I'm still not like I'm a, I'm not conflicted. It's just like I'm I don't know where I'm at because I went into it with like low expectations, and it's better than that,
Mm.
but uh, not like exponentially better than that. I thought it was pretty good,
Okay. Yeah.
and I'll go into it more than that. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it's okay. Like I said, they all kind of follow a formula, and nothing really groundbreaking with any of them. But it is a source material. It's based off of books. Um, but
And I assume they
all in
all
all, it
follow
was
the books
fun.
pretty. I mean, I don't know. Have you read any of these?
No, I haven't.
So I mean, I assume they all follow the plots pretty similarly. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's written in that like the dialogue feels very like 30s and 40s and stuff. I don't know if there's really that much time. Like I don't know. I thought Murder on the Orient Express was like mid early to mid 30s, and this is 1947, and he
Right.
doesn't quite look like 15 years older, but he does have like less of a man. That iconic double mustache is hard to get your eyes off of
I
whenever
know.
those front of his faces on the screen. It's
I keep
crazy.
staring at it.
How do you like? It's like I'm the meme of Zach Galifianakis with the scrolling math in front of his face of
Mm-hmm.
doing the calculations. I'm like, how do you make a mustache? Two mustaches.
Gel.
But anyway, eventually. But this is a tamed down, smaller version of the giant Murray and Lauren Express mustache. But yeah, the character's great, and it is the standout of this movie. And I also loved Michelle Yeoh's presence in this for sure. I thought
Mm-hmm.
she added something to this. You know, she's not in the movie as much as I would have liked her to be, but her character is memorable on it. And she even says there's like a scene where she says like, "You'll remember me," or "You won't forget me," or something like that.
Yeah.
And you won't. Um, but yeah, like the scares aren't really. You'd have to really, and I don't know how much they're really going for like genuine scares,
Mm-hmm.
but they actually tried more jump scares than I was hoping they would.
Yeah. I mean,
Pretty like shrieky, startly
I,
kind of scares.
I think the only one that even got me was the very first one because I just wasn't expecting it at all. Where like it shows a bunch of pigeons and like a seagull or something dives down and they make a loud screeching noise. Because I didn't think that was gonna happen.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
else I was like ready for.
You know what? I actually think that was like a solid opening. I love a bird metaphor. I'm a big fan of the lighthouse.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But but I thought that was just a good like pulled open, and then he's startled awake and everything. Um, the camera work in this is really solid too,
Hmm.
and they do a lot of cool angles and stuff with like once in a while it's a little in the beginning. If you've seen anything else Kenneth Branagh's done besides this trilogy, in the beginning there's a lot of everything is a Dutch angle, and I was like, you got to be kidding me if this movie does that the whole time. But that was like mostly it. But yeah, for the most part, the camera work is great. The colors are real vivid. It looks good. Uh, but I didn't think anybody else's acting really stood out. Beside, there's one person I haven't mentioned, but Kenneth Branagh, Tina Fey, and Michelle Yeoh. Everybody else is nobody else is like bothering me, but maybe the kid.
Yeah.
I don't know if he really bothered me, but he was like very mm, I don't know. He's like very the whole character is like super intelligent kid that's like wise beyond his years, and he's almost having to parent he's essentially having to parent his father. Um, it was interesting at times. It got a little bit like overboard at the end, like which
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna not spoil, but like the very end, there's some things revealed about the kid that I was like, okay, I guess. I mean, he could have. Anyway.
Yeah, I will say like the last 20 minutes of that movie, I was just sitting there thinking like this could have wrapped up a lot quicker than it is, and it just keeps kind of going on.
And like the reveal is sort of uh I could kind of see. So there's a couple things that I kind of saw coming but not quite, but the ultimate reveal being about the thing that it's about. So like I don't know how else to put it without spoiling it, but like
Well, I mean, I
there's
guess we should say just basically like the basic plot is they're trying to figure out if this seance lady is a fake or not, because Tina Fey's character, Wright, is an author, and she wants to write a book about her 'cause she thinks she's the real deal. So she gets Hercule Poirot to come to this seance that she's hosting at this woman's house whose daughter died under mysterious circumstances, and this house used to be an orphanage that doctors and nurses like locked all these children in the basement and they died. So it's supposed to be haunted by the spirits of these kids, which essentially drove the daughter to maybe kill herself, and then there's more to it, of course.
hmm well, and so I mean, Tina Fey is essentially Agatha Christie, I guess, right?
Yeah, it seemed
It's
like,
like
yeah.
it's like in yeah, it's almost like the author of the Hercule Poirot stories is friends with Agatha Christie, essentially. But like, and she like got her fame from writing about him. She says like thinly veiled metaphor for him, and then she kind of got him his fame inadvertently, and he kind of got her more fame inadvertently, but it's kind of slipping and whatever. Um, but yeah, there's a big cast here, and you almost can't get like lost in each character. They all have their different roles to play. But like I said, not to discredit any of the other actors, but the roles that I like left the takeaway, take home roles for this were definitely Tina Fey and Kenneth Branagh
Hmm.
and Michelle Yeoh. But yeah, like I said, not if you're looking for scares, I don't think you'd be looking for like the most shocking horror movie of the year out of this. I hope nobody's expecting that out of it. I was actually, surprised how much of a horror element this did have to it,
Hmm.
considering what movie series it's a part of. It's like how much down the horror road are they really going to take this? And they took it a little bit further than I thought they might. But yeah, I wouldn't look for your biggest scares this year out of this. But it's good. It's not bad. Not every movie has to be amazingly
Yeah.
remarkable. And this is very watchable and good. Same with, I would also recommend the first one. Um,
I will say
maybe
like
not the
I
second one.
I do feel like these movies, like even when they do the big reveal, it's not like, oh my god, what a surprise. It's like, yeah, that kind of that tracks. I kind of figured that's probably what happened.
And I will say it's kind of, one of those little serendipitous kind of things. I don't know, just when you notice a little coincidence here and there. But yesterday I was watching some like not just like a TikTok or something, but like a long form video about the thing that is central to the big reveal in this movie, and it was just funny to be like, okay, because that had kind of crossed my mind. There's a couple little moments that like how in a mystery movie sometimes somebody will say something and it seems so like menial and mundane that it's gonna mean something later. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I can't imagine that coming back. It will. And so I don't know if you got those moments, and we could maybe we'll talk about it off camera or something. But there was a couple moments where I was like, that's gonna be pivotal later. I'm just not sure how,
For
and,
sure.
and it ended up being. Uh, but yeah, same with all these are old stories. If you like a mystery story, it's very like Clue or
Hmm.
but just like it's dressed up, nice, grown up Clue, where it's not and well, and that's the last thing I think I have to say before we rate them, and whatever you want to add to it. But um, the last thing is like the first one to me felt very, especially in the beginning, like not campy, but it's not taking itself super seriously. The characters kind of played for kind of some laughs, and the whole thing feels like it could be a stage play. I'm not saying it like feels like a stage play because these actors are movie actors, and so it doesn't feel like that, but it feels like it could easily be a stage play. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And this one, and I can't compare it to the second one, but this one felt like a lot of the humor was taken out. It feels like he's a little bit more miserable with what's happening to him in this scenario than he has been before, and feels a little bit more, um, without giving too much away, a little more like lost and like he can't quite. There's a lot of moments of doubt here where he's like, "Can I? Am I losing it? Can I?" Because it does start with him, uh, basically retired, like he's just
Hmm.
living in, sort of like resting on his laurels and living in Venice, and Tina Fey's character kind of snatches him out of that. But yeah, a lot more than he's so assured and steady-handed in the first one, and also played more for laughs than he is in this one. There's some jokes for sure, but there was a lot more jokiness and humor, and it makes sense because this is the third movie in the third installment, and it's going to be the darkest one too. So,
Yeah.
um, anything else you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, it's not the big reveal for these movies isn't always that great. Like they try to throw some red herrings and you're like, "Oh, maybe this person," but ultimately when they reveal stuff, it's just like, "Okay, yeah, I get it." That makes I guess the one you were talking about with like the kid was a little strange and I
That
wasn't
was
expecting
one.
that, but
That was one too far for me, the kid
yeah.
thing. But it's not that bad. It's just like I was just like, ah. 'Cause again, there's like one little very spoilery thing about that reveal where I was like, and I guess we're kind of I guess we're dancing around it too much, but there is just one thing where I was like, well, I guess because movie had to happen, but
Right,
we could
yeah.
have like you know so. But you're gonna have little nitpicks like that with everything. But overall, it's a good movie. It gets a little slow in the middle too. Is another like little bit of a con for me. Is
Mhm.
I felt like there was it got a little like the conversational dialogue and stuff was maybe slowed down the runtime just a hair. And
Yeah.
it's not a super long movie though. So what, an hour and 40 minutes or something like that. So
Yeah, I think so.
what would you give it?
Uh
A number.
Probably not going to go too high on this one just cuz like I said, it's just that same formula for a third movie that doesn't do anything special that the other two didn't do either. Probably go with like a five and a half.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Uh, I don't know. Yeah. I think I would say yeah. It's hard to get it. It's hard to get it to a six, even though it's not bad, and I don't like not recommend it. But yeah, probably is like exactly a five and a half for me.
Mhm.
So not bad, but I would start with the first one and feel it out from there because I think either that's the I don't know. I can go back and forth between them. Like I just watched it today. I can see going back and forth between these two as which one's better. This might have a little bit more of a satisfying ending than the first one.
Yeah.
If you were disappointed with the ending, if you've seen the first one and you were disappointed with the ending of that one, this is maybe a little more creative ending, or maybe a little more, less of a leap. I don't know. So anyway, we are gonna. I decided to start posting a link to my Letterboxd account in the description of these. So if you go on my Letterboxd account, there's a bunch of lists on there you can look at and stuff like that. But I think I'm going to just direct link to a list that's public on there. That's all the movies that we draw from to choose our movies for these videos. So if we're not watching a new movie, we have this giant, very dauntingly long list. We won't run out anytime soon. But if you ever see a movie on there that you're like, ooh, if they haven't seen that, because most of these are movies neither of us have seen ever, believe it or not. We got a lot of catching up to do. So if you ever see something on there and you're like, that is something I'd like to see a review about, or I love that movie, or I've been wanting to see that movie, or whatever, let us know down below. The odds are at this point, if you recommend a movie off that list, we'll just make that the next video we do.
You're right.
So it's a race. Yeah, so the letterbox below, the comment below for sure if you've watched this movie or if you've watched the other two and you want to give us your opinion on the other two, and like this video if you enjoy this kind of thing, and share it with your friends and all that good stuff that you love doing so much. And yeah, the next video we're coming out with is going to be for the 2012 movie The Hunt with Mads Mikkelsen. So watch that if you haven't already. And yeah, we appreciate you watching as always, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank
See
you.
ya.